So, you all seem to like my Dragonsheep hybrid challenge, and because of that, I'm back with more dragon designs. These ones are from Gargoyles, the old Disney cartoon from the 90s. You know, this one, right here. This time, I'm turning characters from that show, and their related comics, into dragons. First up is the crew from the Time Dancer plot arc, Brooklyn, Katana, and Nashville. Here we go! First, I'm doing Brooklyn. Brooklyn was always absolutely my favorite, especially his Time Dancer version once I discovered the comics. I made him a Skywing Icewing hybrid so he could be red with white spikes. And both tribes also tend to be a bit grumpy, which totally fit. I gave him the Phoenix Gate as a necklace, and in this alternate universe, it's Animus touched by the Wings of Fire version of Demona, a mad animus named Hurricane. Also, Brooklyn's eye patch covers a burn scar, which is also her fault. The necklace curses him to drift through time, much like the Phoenix Gate did in the comics. I gave him large, slender wings, like an ice wing, and I gave him serrated talons for sharpness, and spiked in his tail, a combination of spikes from both tribes. Scouting tail point is headcanon of mine. I colored pictures and fan art that I definitely didn't make, but I've had stored for ages and I don't remember who made it. And I struggled a bit with the layout. I played with color burn for the shading, and I think it does give very 90s look, which is what I was going for, but I prefer my typical cell shading, but it was very fun to figure out the blend mode anyway. And eventually I came to a realization that the eye patch was on the wrong side. That's an easy fix. I added a background, and just some basic information, some text. Then I did a close-up of the necklace, since on the full body it's kind of small, but it is important, and if someone were to draw him, they would need to get that right. It's actually stuck to his scales, so the poor fellow can't take it off. It's part of the curse. Also, it's why I named him Phoenix, since Brooklyn is definitely not a Wings of Fire dragon name, and I want to keep the dragon version as an OC, so we'll need a different name anyway. And since Phoenix has that eye patch, his face is not symmetrical, which means that I had to draw it from both sides so you could actually see his eyes. Or eye. I give him the darker eyes of an Icewing since it looks more serious. And I added the necklace here too, just to remove any confusion that he can't remove it. Brooklyn does not have an iris in his original design, so I made Phoenix's eyes match his necklace. I also went back to my normal shading methods because I preferred them instead of the color burn. Shading the spikes was incredibly tedious. No. I've always loved Brooklyn. He's my favorite. He's the most three-dimensional in my opinion. And I really felt bad for him when he couldn't get a girlfriend. Plus, he's edgy and looks the most like a dragon, so what's not to like here? All that's left is to shade the other headshot, and then match the fonts. And the fonts don't match completely because I was offline and couldn't access the font I wanted. So I changed that, and with that, Phoenix is done. Katana is Brooklyn's mate in the comics. She only appears in the comics, and I absolutely adore her. She's one of my favorite characters. Brooklyn met her in feudal Japan, apparently, so I made her Wings of Fire version from the past too. Shard is a Nightwing Icewing hybrid who was hatched in Darkstalker's time, 2,000 years before. She has oligodactyly, which is the opposite of polygodactyly, because Katana only has 3 digits on each limb. And the soft gradients on her spine took forcing of her. Also, somewhere along the line, I accidentally deleted her. So this is my second attempt at making her. And I wanted to give Shard a soft, elegant appearance, but rest assured that she would absolutely kill someone if they dared to come close to touching her family. Katana's yellow outfit is also really pretty in my opinion, so I had to add yellow fabric to Shard to match it. And of course, my customary cell shading. I tried to vary the light directions on these drawings just for a little bit of flair and variety. Draw 3 of these gets boring, and 3 moons, the spikes are so finicky, I hate icing spikes now. I finally finished them though, and after a few details like color palette, Katana has been dragonified. Last of this batch is Nashville, who is Brooklyn and Katana's son and also only appears in the comics. I went a bit wild with the design and gave him my favorite characteristics from both parents. And since I've never done a tri-grid before, this was very exciting. I call this version Thunder after looking at synonyms for Nash, which is Nashville's nickname. And Thunder is a pretty typical dragonette, at least in terms of personality, not in terms of amount of time traveling. Shard is a bit overprotective of him. She's a helicopter mom, but they're still very close. And I also gave Thunder a scarf that matches Shard's accessories, just for that little bit of tie-in. He's got a very lively design, which matches his playful personality. Thunder is very confident to the point of overconfidence and can definitely be impulsive. In human years, he is about a 9-year-old boy, so he is definitely a handful for Phoenix and Shard to deal with. He also has his mother's oligodactyly and some scale colors from both parents. He's got a Skywing tail point too, which is, once again, a headcanon. I think it really fits Skywings because of their more traditional dragon look. And finally, all the Time Dancer crew are dragons. And I will be doing more of these fellas, hopefully, and at least these ones will be available to attack on Art Fight if I can get them up there. And by the way, thank you so much for watching my silly little shenanigans, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!